Imagine this. You wake up tomorrow morning still half asleep, you reach for your phone. WhatsApp won't refresh, Instagram shows an error, YouTube won't load. Must be the Wi-Fi, you think. You switch to mobile data, still nothing. But soon the news confirms it. It's not just you, not your city, not even your country. The entire internet has vanished. Everywhere, forever. No banking, no Google Maps, no Netflix, no cloud. Sounds impossible, right? But let's dive into this thought experiment. What if the internet disappeared tomorrow? Could the world survive? Could you survive? And as we go along, let's look at real events that already gave us small previews of this nightmare. Your social world goes dark. Think about October 4th, 2021. Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp went down for just 6 hours. The result? Businesses lost an estimated $100 million in revenue, and billions of people were suddenly cut off from their friends, families, and workplaces. Facebook's stock dropped 5% in a single day. No WhatsApp, no Zoom calls, no emails. Even phone calls would struggle because most cell networks now run on internet-based protocols. If one company's 6-hour crash caused global panic, how would you personally cope if everything you rely on vanished in one morning? Your money freezes. Now let's talk about money. Or take March 2021 when Visa's global payments network glitched for a few hours. Millions of transactions failed. Shops stopped accepting cards. If such small-scale events already cause chaos, what happens when all digital banking fails? Remember, less than 10% of global money exists as physical cash. The rest? Just numbers stored on servers that need the internet to move. Your credit card? Useless. Your debit card? Dead plastic, even Bitcoin wallets? Frozen forever. Do you have enough cash at home to buy food if cards stopped working tomorrow? Your work and education vanish. Think about March 2020. The early days of the pandemic. Schools closed, offices shut. But we adapted because the internet was there. Zoom, Google Meet, Microsoft Teams, digital classrooms, online universities. Now imagine that same lockdown, but without the internet. No remote work, no online learning, no cloud servers. That was only one service provider. If the internet disappears, all of them are gone. Your office? Shut. Your school? Paused indefinitely. If your entire job or studies disappeared tomorrow, how many days could you go before panic set in? Our modern lives are built on a web of invisible connections. Fiber optic cables, cell towers. We wake up, scroll, and connect. Our day orchestrated by a network we take for granted. But what happens when that foundation cracks? What happens when your daily life breaks? Consider Canada in July 2022. A routine software update gone wrong triggered a nationwide outage, plunging over 10 million people into digital darkness. They lost access to everything from social media to banking, transport, and emergency services. Cash became king as ATMs and debit systems failed. Commuters were stranded, unable to pay for fares. In hospitals, doctors lost access to patient records, turning routine procedures into high-stakes gambles. This was the chaos from a single point of failure in one country for one day, a stark warning. Now imagine that amplified on a global scale. Not one network, but all of them. Not for a day, but indefinitely. The services we rely on would vanish. Your digital life, cloud files, your Amazon cart, would cease to exist. At home, smart devices would go dark. This is more than inconvenience. It's a paralyzing disorientation. We've outsourced our memory to the cloud and our direction to GPS. Sever that connection, and daily order collapses into chaos. How would you get cash, contact family? How would you know what was happening beyond your own street? Our health and safety are now inextricably linked to the internet. It's the silent nervous system of modern medicine, coordinating everything from patient records to surgical robots. But what happens when that system is severed? Your health and safety are hit. Healthcare is terrifyingly fragile. In 2017, the WannaCry ransomware attack crippled the UK's National Health Service. Doctors were thrown back to pen and paper, completely blind to critical patient histories. Thousands of appointments and life-saving surgeries were cancelled. Ambulances were diverted, with patients inside losing precious minutes. All this chaos, putting countless lives at risk, was caused by just a single piece of malware. Now imagine that chaos scaled globally, with every hospital disconnected. The consequences would be catastrophic. Electronic patient records would vanish, taking vital allergy and treatment data with them. Diagnostic tools like MRI scanners would become useless. And the intricate, just-in-time supply chains for essential medicines would collapse, leaving pharmacy shelves empty within days. Consider the COVID-19 vaccine rollout. It was a logistical miracle, with each temperature-sensitive vial tracked through a complex global supply chain. This required constant real-time online coordination. Without the internet, such a feat would be impossible. Even calling for help is at risk. Many 911 systems now rely on internet-based technology. During a 2022 Canadian telecom outage, emergency calls simply failed to connect, leaving people completely isolated and without help when they needed it most. It's a terrifying thought. If your loved one had a medical emergency tomorrow and the systems designed to save them were dark, what would you do? Your governments stumble. The internet is no longer just a tool for governments, it's the very foundation they operate on. From public services and tax collection to the administration of law itself, every critical function is now online. This dependency, once a symbol of progress, is now their greatest vulnerability. Consider the 2015 cyber attack on Ukraine's power grid, which plunged 230,000 people into darkness. A digital assault seized control of circuit breakers, proving our most basic utilities are dangerously exposed. It was a stark warning: infrastructure can be weaponized with keystrokes. Now scale that vulnerability globally. The world's economy would instantly seize. Stock exchanges stop trading, freezing trillions, ports can't track cargo, severing supply chains. Air traffic control grinds to a halt as logistics simply vanish. The entire system of modern commerce would evaporate. National defense is equally at risk. Modern warfare is fought over networks. Without the internet, advanced militaries are rendered deaf and blind. Intelligence streams dry up, satellite links go dead, drones fall from the sky, and command and control systems go silent. This digital paralysis creates the ultimate fog of war. In the silence, what if a country mistakes this for a first strike? With no way to verify information, paranoia and miscalculation could spark devastating conflict. Decisions with world-ending consequences would be made in a vacuum of truth. Do you trust your leaders to stay calm if the digital backbone of civilization collapses? Your mind feels the shock. October 2021 again. During Facebook's 6-hour outage, millions panicked. Some even called emergency services because they couldn't message family. That was hours. Imagine years. Psychologists already know we check our phones 90 to 100 times a day. Take that away suddenly, and billions experience digital withdrawal. Anxiety, depression, anger, protests. Teenagers raised entirely online feel like their world has ended. Older generations adapt better, but even they lose touch with distant family. If tomorrow you lost your digital identity, your photos, your accounts, your connections, who would you be? The adaptation, but humanity is resilient, always has been. When New York's power grid collapsed in the blackout of 1977, communities came together, helping neighbors and improvising. When Hurricane Katrina hit in 2005, ham radio operators became lifelines. If the internet disappeared, the same would happen. Radios would return, newspapers and libraries would boom again, cash would dominate, communities would localize. It would be slower, more fragmented, but not the end of the world. Are you ready to adapt if that day comes? The lesson. So, what if the internet disappeared tomorrow? We've already seen glimpses. Canada's blackout, Facebook's crash, WannaCry in hospitals, Ukraine's cyber attacks. Each showed us just how fragile our systems really are. The real internet is unlikely to vanish completely, it's too decentralized. But regional outages, cyber attacks, even solar storms, those are real risks. The lesson isn't that the internet will disappear. The lesson is that our dependence is total, and that's dangerous. Do you have cash at home if cards stop working? Could you live without Google Maps for a week? Do you have another way to reach family without WhatsApp? If your answer is no, maybe it's time to prepare. Even just a little. Outrow. The internet is invisible. We barely think about it, until it's gone. If tomorrow it disappeared, you wouldn't just lose cat videos. You'd lose your money, your safety, your connections. So the next time your Wi-Fi goes down, don't just get angry. Take it as a reminder. The life you take for granted rests on invisible threads. And ask yourself, without the internet, who would you be? Tell me in the comments, what's the first thing you would lose if the internet disappeared tomorrow?